down tonight at Madison Square Garden. Let's start the wrestling. Yes, indeed. Where is he? There he is. There we go. All good. A little botchamania to start the show. A little botch. Happened last night, too. I don't know what's going on with our countdown clock. We don't have it down. Something's wrong with the clock or the time or something. I don't know.
Well, I did make the podcast edition, so.
It didn't.
They don't know about it. No.
All right, good. Yeah, I probably removed that. You good? How are you? What's been going on with you?
Oh, just enjoying the wonderful weather we have, actually. I know some people don't like the heat wave, but I actually like warm weather, so.
Yeah,
it's
like
nice
it too.
from the 6 months of winter, so yeah. Or 7 months of winter that we have here.
Yeah. It's so cold here most of the time. I don't mind when it's hot. I don't complain. I like it.
I think it's going to be kind of cool when AEW finally comes here now, though.
Right. So that was a report from Pat LaPrade, right?
Yeah. Pat revealed it, yeah. I have talked to people at the Bell Center, like that's happening.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So you are confirming it as well. So Pat put the report out. I don't know anybody else that's confirmed it. But you, Johnny North, right now, from your sources at the Bell Center, are also confirming that AEW is coming to Montreal, to the Bell Center, on December 5th and 6th?
The Tuesday and the Wednesday. I think they wanted Thursday to tape Collision, but the Canadians, I think, are playing Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think they'd have Saturday because the Canadians aren't playing Saturday, but there's probably like some sort of concert, maybe, I'm guessing. So Collision will be Tuesday with the ROH taping, I'm not mistaken.
Oh. So they'll do a Collision taping on a Tuesday night with some sort of Ring of Honor taping, and then they'll do live Dynamite with a Rampage taping after that on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's happening early December. And you are confirming this. Because I read the report, and I believe Pat LaPrade, but I believe you even more because you're Johnny North and I know you personally. I trust you. And if you're confirming this to me, then I believe it.
Well, you've also seen me at the Bell Center in wonderful seats, so you know I have hookups there. So
you have hookups everywhere. You're the world famous Johnny North. You know, you're a famous guy. People know you.
I don't know if I'll be there both nights, but I'm guessing Collision will probably go for that one. I don't know about you.
Strange choice.
Oh, I gotta go for Punk. Like that's gonna be amazing for that. Like, can't wait for that.
Did the Dark Order just win?
Yeah. But, it's because the BCC interfered.
Okay. But the Dark Order with BCC interference just beat Hangman and the Bucks, the Hung Bucks, on Rampage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, you figured the Elite are going to win Blood and Guts, right? So the Elite got to take a loss before then.
Maybe.
Here comes Kenny.
There's Kenny making the save with a chair. And it's not really much BCC, right? It's just Claudio and Takeshita. Because Moxley is in Japan getting things stuck in his head.
Yeah, like a skewer or something.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah.
The hell was that?
Well, he's going for some sort of death match, like championship or something, or it's like a tournament thing he's in, no?
I don't know. Is this in New Japan?
I'm thinking it is. I'm not sure. You know more about it than I do.
I really don't know. I just saw the pictures on the internet, and I didn't do much research. It would make sense. Yeah, I guess it is New Japan. They just don't do a lot of death matches in New Japan. That's why I was a little bit confused. Because it's usually just kind of wrestling, you know?
Right. Well, I think he also mentioned that he wanted to beat Sonata because he wanted to be the champion. He's never won the championship there, so. So I don't
Moxley
know if
wants
he's
to
also
be a New Japan World Champion. Okay,
Well,
I
yeah.
don't know about that.
There was something about he said something about like no one's won all the titles, like the WWE title, AEW, New Japan. Like I think he'd be the first one. He said.
Okay, um, but I doubt it. I mean, maybe, but he'd have to commit a
I
lot
could
of
see it
time over
happening.
there.
Well, I think that's why we saw what happened. He's showing them what he's willing to do.
Hmm. Yeah, that was crazy. He had all sorts of spikes in his head. He's like skewers. I got to go back and see that match. I haven't seen that yet. I didn't even realize. I figured it was New Japan, but I was like, are they doing death matches now? Like, what's going on? I'll go and check that out. But I just saw the pictures on the internet, and some people loved it, and some people hated it, as it is in wrestling. Nobody's kind of like. I feel like we're the only guys that are like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, this is the worst thing ever, or this is the best thing ever. And you and me were kind of like even. We're like, yeah, that's all right, or it's not so great, you know? We don't go too crazy. Although sometimes I do. You're more even keeled than I am.
Yeah, sometimes you go a little nuts, but it's fine. But it should be interesting, Blood and Guts, though, when it finally comes. We're 2 weeks away, if I'm not mistaken. No,
I
July
guess.
19th.
Mm-hmm. You would rather go to a
Did you
Collision
see?
taping than a live Dynamite? I would rather go to the live Dynamite.
Really? Wow.
It's Dynamite. It's the A show, isn't it?
Last couple of weeks, I would not say so, to be honest. In terms of like enjoyment of like watching a show, like Dynamite has actually not been that great the last couple of weeks. I don't know, they're just not trying as hard, or I mean, obviously they're probably trying harder on the new show, but I feel like they're not trying as hard on Dynamite. There's some good segments, but overall, it's not as good as it used to be.
I didn't love Collision last week.
Well, it's a taped show though. Like it didn't feel as good because it was taped. You could tell like
Okay.
with the cuts and everything, like.
So?
But it's all the build to this week. And this week, like nothing on Dynamite compares to what's going to happen on Collision this week.
Yeah, they got Punk
It's
and Joe,
huge,
right?
gigantic.
It's a big match. But
Like Dynamite needed like a Moxley versus Omega match or something. Like they're not even come close this week.
I guess, but it's Dynamite. I feel like it's the A show. If I'm buying tickets for one night, I'm buying tickets for Dynamite. But you know me, I'll probably go to both.
Oof, rough week for Zev. Oof.
I don't think he'll go to both.
Okay.
No, I think I'll just take him to Dynamite. Although I'm not sure if I should take my son to any AEW shows. You know?
Well,
It's
especially
not
on a school
appropriate.
night.
It's not really about the school night. It's more about like these shows are not as kid friendly as the WWE shows to take like a 6-year-old. You know?
Dynamite, yeah. I mean, Collision. I mean, what have we seen that's really like, except wrestling, pretty much. Like,
They say bad
I think
words.
maybe. Do they say a bad word?
I
Okay.
don't
And there was a
probably.
bit of blood, dust
Yeah.
and blood a bit, but I mean, blood
Yeah.
happens in usual wrestling, so
Not
we should have had blood.
really.
There should have been
AEW
blood
has
tonight.
way more blood. Way
That's
more
true.
blood.
There's excessive blood,
Yeah.
but there should have been blood tonight when Jimmy got hit with the belt like 10 times. Like, how are you not bleeding after getting hit with the belt that many times? But
Yeah. And he went to the hospital. Blood wouldn't have been the worst thing there, but it's pretty rare in WWE. Although the crowd on SmackDown tonight was not PG. You heard half of Roman's promo
no,
was getting bleeped out because they were
yep.
swearing.
I
They
don't
said,
expect the Montreal crowd will be very friendly either.
yeah. No, that's it. The AEW Montreal crowd. I wonder,
Oof.
I think they'll probably do well here, though. Like, they'll sell tickets for both
2 nights
nights.
though.
Yeah.
That's rough. Back to back, Bell Center. Like I would have done Place Bell back to back. That would have been more reasonable.
I think
Like one
Dynamite,
night.
they'll probably sell out, but for the Collision taping, they're gonna have trouble.
Well, that's why it's smart to have a collision first, because like people are like, oh, it's the first chance we get, make the
Yeah,
most of it, kind of thing.
yeah.
So It's not a bad thing
Yeah.
that it comes first.
It's a good thing they have CM Punk too, because he's a draw. Like without Punk,
Oh, he's
that's a
thing,
hard sell for tickets. You know,
100%.
it's
Well,
a good thing
ROH.
they got
I mean,
him.
I'm sure there's a lot of in Montreal. A lot of people love like ROH. So
Not enough people. Not
we had like an
10,000.
ROH show.
Not enough to
I
buy
know
You know what I mean? Like
it would be rough.
It's
Yeah.
a small. It's like 500 people. 500 dudes that watch all the rest.
This is what Plas Bell would have been better.
I don't know. I mean, WWE has trouble when they do, 2 nights here. One of the nights, not so filled.
Well, it's a challenge for Montreal. Like, we've always asked for it, right? Now you finally get it, and you're getting it 2 shots here, so make the most of it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
What can you do?
I think Dynamite, because it's the brand name show, will do better, ticket-wise.
Well, also because it's live, I think people are more enticed with live, probably.
Yeah.
But again, Punk, for me, that's the thing. Like, the reaction he's going to get in Montreal, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think, some people like him, some people don't like him. We see our man Alex Tarras on the chat. He hates CM Punk, says CM Punk is boring. Doesn't like Punk at all. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Lauren, Ryan Katz on the chat over on Facebook, YouTube. So many different things. We're on Rumble, Kick, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. All the streams.
Stitcher until it dies.
Okay. I'm on Threads now. Are you on Threads?
No, I'm not on Threads.
Oh, you didn't get the
no
Threads.
Idea this existed.
You don't know about Threads?
I just know you and your dad are doing Threads, right? I think that's it.
It's the Instagram Twitter. It's new Twitter for Facebook, Instagram. It's Meta's Twitter, the Zuckerberg Twitter. It's basically Twitter,
away from Facebook stuff.
But it's not as good as Twitter. I like Twitter better still. I'm not fully into Threads. I got Threads. I look around at Threads, and I'm like, meh, not so great.
We got a blind eliminator tag match here.
Yeah, it's Matt Hardy and Jeff Jarrett against Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. I hope Matt Hardy and Jeff Jarrett win. I like them as a team. I think they should be a team permanently.
Win,
no,
because the winner faces Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin on Dynamite, so it's going to be Sammy and the other guy.
They're the more pushed guys too. Plus, they've got like a whole gimmick going with their team. Jericho told them to go and find their own thing, right?
Yeah, that happened. Yeah, remember that. I mean, there were some okay moments, and then there was just some meh moments on Dynamite this week. That was a meh moment.
I mean, while we're watching Rampage, we might as well get into Dynamite. We'll get to some WWE stuff here in a minute. Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin beating Keith Lee and Swerve in the opening match on Dynamite this week to advance in the tag team blind tournament, don't know who's who thing.
I feel like it's all revealed, no? The brackets are pretty much, or it's
I think we're pretty much there. Like, they advanced to the semifinals, right?
I think.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to have more, but I don't think so.
I think they said at one point it's the semifinals. So they would face this other team, the Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia in the semifinals. The match was all right. Darby took some nasty stuff.
Yeah.
The incredible, the Beal that Keith Lee, when he threw Darby across the ring, ridiculous.
Yep.
And when they
stepped on him.
Yeah, when he put him under the ring steps and then he walked on the ring steps, there's no way to fake that. That shit hurt. That was crazy.
Darby likes pain, or he doesn't mind pain, or he'll kill himself. Doesn't matter. Just entertainment means a lot to him, I think.
That was nuts, right? When he did that, I'd never seen that done before.
Well, I think that's his mentality, pretty much. It's like, what has never been done before? What would get people excited? Well, I'm going to do that. That's his mindset, I think, and I appreciate that. But wow, he's crazy.
Isn't that what wrestling is supposed to be? Innovation,
yes,
creativity.
I just hope I just hope he doesn't get seriously injured. I always worry about that. That's it. Like, it always feels like he's going to get seriously, seriously hurt.
It's what we said about Shawn Michaels and Jeff Hardy and, Rob Van Dam.
With Shawn, I wouldn't have minded so much. Everyone else, yeah, I
No,
kind of
but
worry.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, but I'm saying he was able to do stuff people thought, oh, too high risk, whatever, but at the time, it was kind of groundbreaking. Jeff Hardy has done ridiculous things over the years, and he's somehow survived with, certain helps along the way, demons.
Side effects.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's working for Darby, and the match was so much better because Darby did crazy stuff that you've never seen before. Only problem with the match, though, is that Darby pinned Swerve, and Keith Lee was actually the legal man. There was no tag.
And they yelled it out, too. The ref yelled it out, and yet they still pinned Swerve. I don't understand that. That was the one thing that was off. I thought it was the match of the night, but that was the one thing that kind of ruined it, sadly, was that one flaw. But oh well.
Good match, though.
Yeah, well, I thought Keith Lee looked fantastic in it. Like, you haven't seen him do much lately, so it was nice to see that, yeah, he can still be impressive. And, I thought he was great. I thought Swerve also looked really good. And, Orange Cassidy, he's all right with certain guys. And with these guys, it felt like it meshed well. So I didn't really mind all this stuff. This was, in my opinion, the best match we saw on Wednesday.
It was pretty good. And I like that Keith Lee is young again. You notice he's not old man Keith Lee. He dyed his hair.
Well, he shit that beard, too. The beard, I don't think it was a good look for him.
Yeah. He looked like old man Winter.
Yeah, it was weird. The cloak and all that. Like, I don't know. Wasn't a good fit for him, but he looks like he's rejuvenated in a sense.
Yeah, he looks like 25 years younger. It's crazy. Darby Allin did a promo about this Buddy Wayne guy who's 18 and has an AEW contract and apparently is going to wrestle at some point soon. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, it's nice what they're doing for him. Like his dad died and he's always wanted to be a wrestler. But he just turned 18. It's like you don't have to put him in the ring right away, but that's what they're going to do. Yeah. And it's great what they're doing for him, but to say that he's ready right away, it's like, whoa. Like, that seems to be a lot to ask of him, like, to put him on television like that right away.
It's tough. It's tough. At 18, like, you just don't look the part. No matter how in shape you are, it's going to be tough to look. And you see him, and it's like, well, Nick Wayne, right? Buddy Wayne was the dad.
You saw in the package he wrestled Swerve before, so I imagine it's going to be a good match. They'll have some great back and forth, but yeah, in terms of the look, he hasn't fully grown yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it.
Like,
he doesn't.
Give it time. Like, and to put him on television, Dynamite, their number one show right now. That's huge on him, and that's a rough spot to be in. But he'll make the most of it, I imagine.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. We'll see what he is, and then they'll probably disappear him for a long time, like that guy who beat Jericho, Action Andretti, who's kind of here and there. They have guys like that. Well, they bring them in. They're like, this guy's gonna be something, and then they're not around.
Well, they didn't really hype up Andretti. That just kind of came out of nowhere, where Jericho was just like, "Oh, I'm going to lose this guy." But Nick Wayne gets a bit of hype here, and they kind of talked about him, I think, beforehand as well. Like, there was something about him. So I think this might actually stick for a bit. But again, like, to put him on right away, that's a lot to ask. You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, Jay, for renewing. Appreciate it. Jungle Boy shown arriving to the arena. He wants a FTW title shot. He's going to go ask Tony Khan for it. But before he can, Hook attacks him, and then Jungle Boy escaped in a car. And that was Jungle Boy for the night. So Jungle Boy and Hook continuing their thing.
It just felt like it was they didn't have much of an idea for him this week. So just a little quick thing. come in and then run back again, and that's it. That's all it was. I mean, it felt like there was truly no advancement because Jungle Boy said he wanted to go ask for the match and never got to ask for the match. So there will be no match next week or anything. So we aren't really progressing. It's just more of the same that happened this week.
It's
in a very short little promo.
It's just like watching it, I go, oh, we're checking in with the kids' table. That's what we're doing here. We're checking in with the children. Here's Jungle Boy, who's all mean and tough and trying to be this mean heel, and he's playing this part. And here's Hook, this guy who's all, he's an ass kicker, and but really, when you look at them, you're like, what? And when you know their backgrounds and know who they really are, you're like, come on, man. I don't buy any of these jabronis doing any of this stuff. It's just, both of them are just so not believable and just not credible. They've got, you want to talk about lack of look and haven't fully grown up, like, it's a different division. They don't fit. And then when you check in on them, you see what they're doing, you're like, come on. Next. Give me some grown-ups on TV. I don't need to see these guys. Especially against each other. It's just like they expose each other by how phony they are in their own gimmicks. Like Hook, I know a lot of people buy into Hook, but I'm not buying into this kid. I don't believe him. Kids table.
I agree with you. It's just their thing is that it doesn't matter in terms of the size. They'll push you anyways, and they'll make it seem like you're bigger than you actually are, kind of thing. That seems to be their philosophy in terms of how they do the wrestling. If you notice, a lot of the smaller guys beat the bigger guys, so it doesn't really matter. I think we talked about Nick Wayne. It doesn't really matter. He's kind of small as long as he entertains people and gets reactions. That's what's really most important. And Hook is a prime example of, well, he gets amazing reactions. We got to put him on TV somehow. And that's what's pretty much happened.
Yeah. But they put him in these positions where he's kind of sheltered from the real wrestlers.
He has, well, you've seen glimpses of him with other wrestlers. And you saw when he wrestled Matt Hardy, he kind of got exposed a bit there where it's like, this isn't as good as it used to be when he's wrestling, an actually full-grown man.
Yeah. When he actually has to wrestle a real wrestler. It's like, oh, yeah, he's not this. He's something else. He's not actually a wrestler yet. Maybe he will be one day, but this gimmick, this character, it's like, come on, dude. And Jungle Boy trying to put on this mean face. It's not believable. They're not believable.
Well, Jungle Boy is going to take a while for him to get used to that character. It's kind of a thing where it's like, well, we'll just make him a heel, and it's, he's just going off of what other people have told him, kind of thing. He's got to really experience it for himself, and there's going to be growing pains with this. And I feel like I wasn't big on his opening promo when he did it last week, so I don't imagine it's going to get too much better.
It's two kids playing wrestler. It looks like they're playing characters. You see right through it. It's transparent. It's not good. Speaking of not good, MJF and Adam Cole, who are usually pretty good, they had to do this comedy skit where they're trying to be friends. They're at the gym. MJF mocks a guy for being fat. What?
The gym stuff, like,
you like
I've heard
this?
People talk like, because people at the gym have actually talked like that. That's why.
What do you mean?
So it's like that. That's because I've seen people like mock people for being like out of shape or something. Like I've seen that happen before. People have done that. So
okay,
it's like it's kind of funny because it's kind of true.
Okay.
So and the whole idea of like Adam Cole can bench like 3 plates and all that, the way they did that, and like that's hilarious because like he obviously didn't do it, but it's funny that they made you try to believe that he could do it.
That was funny.
It's just funny that. Yeah, I thought that was funny because like obviously he didn't do it.
Such a cheesy ending, like MJF's face, like huh? I can't like, come on, what are we watching here?
I just again because I've seen people do like those videos where they were doing ridiculous weights, but it's actually fake weights. So, because I've seen this kind of gym mentality. So for me, it's funny because they're just kind of almost mocking gym humor in a sense.
Okay. I didn't like it so much. I thought it was dumb. I thought it was a dumb comedy skit and it was unnecessary. Then we saw the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass over the Blade and the Bollywood Boys, which just didn't need to happen.
Well, you know why it happened. They have to get the Acclaimed on the show. The Bollywood Boys are from Canada, so they try to get as much Canadian content on the show as they can.
Yeah,
so,
but when you're never on the show to begin with, and they only stick you on the show in Canada, it's like, what are these guys doing here? Get out of here, man. They're not really on the show. It's ridiculous. And once you see them, and it's like, what are they doing? Oh, they're with the Blade. Why? No reason other than, we want to have them job to these guys. What was the reason? I didn't see a reason.
Because the Butcher was in the blind tag.
So? But why were the Bollywood Boys with the Blade? What's their association with the Blade?
You just needed partners because the Butcher was in another match.
Why them?
Because there's two guys that he needed.
Okay.
So that worked.
Why was he in the match in the first place? So the pretext to this match is the Blade is told, you must wrestle the Acclaimed and Father Ass. And
right, yeah.
And he's like, well, my tag team partner is one guy, and they're like, no, he's teaming with someone else tonight because a ball got picked and he's with someone. So he's like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? You must find two men willing to team with you to face the former tag team champions and Father Ass. That's how AEW wrestling works? He was just stuck in this match for no reason? Man.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. And then the Australian QTV lady was on the big screen talking after the match for some reason. I just tuned out. I don't care about any of that stuff. They're feuding with the QTVs. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass are feuding with them now. And nope. Skip.
The main thing that I took away from this match was Billy Gunn is like super over. Like, I feel he might be more over than the Acclaimed are. Like, I don't know if they're going to make him Trios champions, but they should do something with Billy because he's one of the most over guys right now in all of AEW.
He's like 100 years old.
Yeah, but he can still go. And you can get someone over with, like, he got the Acclaimed over, you know?
Yeah.
You can get other people over if you give them, like, somewhat of a run.
I don't see it happening. He's more like a player coach at this point, isn't he? Like, they're not going to do that.
He's a mix. I mean, he's definitely a coach, but I feel like he's still useful as a talent, though.
Well, we'll see. I don't know what they're going to do. I was confused as to who this was on Rampage, but it's Chris Statlander. She's just got like some sort of weird visor on. Can't see her
I can tell the title, but I'm like, did someone steal the title from
Who is this lady?
for a second?
Who is that? Yeah. We just saw Hikaru Shida beat Marina Shafir on Rampage.
Yeah, that happened.
Hasn't been much of anything. The Jeff Jarrett and Matt Hardy lost?
They did.
Well, there you have it. Chris Jericho did a promo in the ring, and I thought it was all right. The Chris Jericho Don Callis promo, I liked it.
It was the best part of the show, was this.
Yeah, and Jericho got a huge ovation in Edmonton. Huge.
Well, from a while, like, a lot of people said, like, he came from Calgary because he was trained there, right? So
yeah.
So people feel like he's one of their own in a sense, even though it's Edmonton. And there was some booing for Calgary a bit there, just because they're in Edmonton. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, Jericho said, he's like, "Why are you booing?" Like I don't think he understood that they were booing Calgary.
Well, because he said I trained with Stu Hart in Calgary.
Yeah.
And then went boo, and they go, "Why are you booing Stu Hart?"
Yeah. And then the commentator's like, "I think they're saying Stu," but really, I think they were booing Calgary because they're in Edmonton and there's like a rivalry there, right?
Well, Quebec City, they boo us, I'm sure.
Do they? I don't think so. I don't think there's is there a rivalry between Quebec City and Montreal? I don't think so. I don't see a rivalry.
There used to be. Maybe not so much anymore, but there used to be.
Because of hockey? You're saying?
Hockey.
Because when they had a hockey team?
Yeah.
But now they have no hockey team. So what's there to be rivalry over? Tax dollar money?
Well, the fact that we get more shows than they do.
Of course.
I think it's fair to say. Like, they finally get a Raw. Like, how long has it been?
Yeah, but is Quebec City surprised by that? I mean, Montreal is the big city in the province, right? Edmonton and Calgary, I think maybe it's closer as far as, like, what's the bigger city? Because to me, in our province, Montreal is far bigger than Quebec City. But Edmonton, Calgary, I don't really know. I'm not from Alberta. I've never been there.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure either, but I would figure that because Calgary, they put over Calgary more so, I find, in the news because of the Hearts, Landstorm. It always feels like Calgary's put over more in wrestling than Edmonton is.
I feel like even in Canada, like if you were to tell me what's the bigger city without looking it up on Google, I have no idea, and I'm not going to look it up because it's really not important right now. But I would say Calgary's bigger than Edmonton, no?
I would think so, too. I'm not looking up either, but I would think it is, yeah.
Yeah. Like in Ontario, it's pretty clear, like Toronto is the bigger city than Ottawa or whatever else they have in Ontario. I don't even know. Barrie, you know? But Kingston, no offense to our boy Doug, but he knows, Shout out Kingston. But like Saskatchewan, right? They're going to be in Regina, aren't they? Did they do the Regina show yet? Yeah, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow. They're in Regina for a collision. Yeah, they're in Regina.
Oh, wow.
Saskatchewan. What's bigger?
Oh, that's right.
Regina or Saskatoon? No idea.
I would think Regina, but not 100% sure.
Saskatoon, I would say, would be bigger because it sounds like the name of the province. Sask. It's got the Sask thing going. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It feels like it's more related, so it feels bigger to me. I've also never been to Saskatchewan. Have you noticed I haven't been to the west of the country? Regina. Canada, Chris Stopsy saying Regina, so maybe he's right. I'm going to say he's right because I really have no idea. Like BC, easy. It's Vancouver. Nova Scotia, easy. It's Halifax. Right?
Well, you've been to Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I mean, it's Halifax, but it's really not. It's not a huge city if you've been there. I've been to Halifax. It's all right. I like Nova Scotia. I've been to the east of Canada. I haven't been to the west. But Montreal seems way bigger than Quebec City. I feel like it's like a Toronto, Ottawa type of thing. In that vein, you know what I mean?
Well, I've been to Quebec City a couple of times. Like Quebec City looks nicer than Montreal, but yeah, Montreal is definitely bigger.
Yeah. Anyways, Jericho is from Winnipeg in Manitoba, which is a province we haven't thrown out. And I would say, what else is in Manitoba other than Winnipeg? You know what I mean? Like, that's clearly the biggest city in Manitoba. Right?
Most well-known, yeah, I would think, yeah. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, name another city or even town or whatever in Manitoba.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't think of one right now.
You can't? Me neither.
It's Winnipeg, yeah.
Are we bad Canadians for doing that? I don't know. That's funny. We can't name another town, and we're not Western Canadians. No, we are not. No. I could name you a bunch of towns in Quebec and Ontario. A bunch. And I could name you a bunch of towns in, New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, but couldn't name you much. I've been to
we
New
got another
Glasgow, Pictou, all those places.
blind eliminator coming up right here.
Shout out my friends in Pictou. Really, Lobster Carnival this weekend in Pictou, Nova Scotia, John. So shout out to them and the Lobster Carnival out there. Big weekend.
I don't know. You kind of put over Nova Scotia as being kind of mid. So
I mean, it's all right. It's pretty good.
Yeah. When you say that, that's mid.
Everything's
like that.
Everything's mid to me. But no, Nova Scotia is very nice. Very nice. You may see me there permanently at some point. Who knows? Pretty good. They got ocean. We got ocean here. I like ocean. It's good.
We got a fake beach.
Fake beach. Yeah. Fake news. No good. Give me ocean. Okay. I don't know why we're doing a Canadian geography lesson here on the show. I think it's because we talked about Edmonton and Calgary and Don Callis and Chris Jericho, who cut a promo in Edmonton, but they're both from Winnipeg, but it's all Western Canada. Kenny Omega, also from Winnipeg, got a massive ovation in Edmonton. Like, those people out there, I mean, they know, He's one of our own. Good Canadian guy, especially Western Canada, They're going to go bananas for him. They went bananas. But they hated Don Callis. They chanted, "Fuck you, Callis," and booed him out of the building. Very mean to Don Callis, even though he's a Western Canadian. But they're on Team Jericho.
Over Canadians.
Did he? Oh, well, Kenny, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. Shameful.
So Callis and Jericho went over their history, and how they helped each other, and Callis putting together the New Japan Wrestle Kingdom match with Kenny and Jericho, which kind of started the Kenny-Jericho thing, the alliance, and helped create AEW, and Jericho saying he brought Don Callis back to the wrestling business before that, so they're really intertwined, and they've known each other forever. And Don says he was recently betrayed by his family. He was recently betrayed by Kenny Omega. And now he needs to build a new family. And he asks Jericho to join the Don Callis family. And Jericho thinks about it for a while and says, maybe. And then he leaves. So, interesting. I liked it. I don't know where it's going to go, but I liked it. It was a hell of a promo, and I could see Jericho joining, but also putting him in this position where he either joins and becomes or continues to be like a heel, or he doesn't join and then turns outright babyface. Like, they've put the Chris Jericho character in an interesting position because he's been this heel, leader of this heel group for a while now with the JAS, but now it seems like they're making a pivot with Chris Jericho. I don't hate it.
Well, it might go that way, but it might not go that way. So they kept it open, which is, I think, good. I feel Jericho with Callis works, but he also doesn't need Callis because, I mean, he can obviously talk. So Callis is a great heat magnet. So maybe that's what Jericho wants because he knows he gets cheered a lot. So with having Don around, he'll get booed more.
But it is like a twist on the character, Like, he's been a heel. He was doing that dastardly stuff with Adam Cole and Saraya and Britt Baker and all of that. And now he goes from that to coming out, getting a huge ovation, talking about being from that area. And here's Don Callis making an offer, and Jericho's thinking about it. But I think if he says no, then he's full-on babyface, which is a twist. But if he says yes, then that means the Jericho Appreciation Society probably just falls apart, and we have some new group with Don Callis and Jericho and Takeshita, which is an interesting proposition, and I'm not ruling it out. But I feel like if I had to bet, I would bet on Jericho just turning babyface out of this whole thing. Joining the Elite, maybe, for that blood and guts. Because they're going to need a man.
Well,
because think about it. It's 5-on-5, right?
Right.
So they have Hangman, Kenny and the Bucks.
Yeah.
So they need a fifth man. And Eddie Kingston can't be the guy because he's doing the G1 in New Japan right now. He's busy.
Right.
So it could be Jericho. But I know Kenny hinted that it would be, I mean, people are thinking Ibushi, but
that's what I heard.
I mean, people are always thinking Ibushi's going to show up. People thought Ibushi was going to show up at Forbidden Door, but he didn't.
Yeah, but like, isn't he not with New Japan now?
He's not.
Isn't that like, yeah, so like, it doesn't make sense that he'd be there.
No.
But here, makes sense.
Yeah. Could be.
So.
Could be. What do you think Jericho does? So what do you think happens here?
I think Jericho just left it open because I don't think they know yet. I think they're just kind of like, we'll see how things kind of pan out with the Jericho Appreciation Society because Sammy, what's going to go happen with him? I think him and Garcia, they're not going to beat Orange Cassidy and Darby, I think. And that might cause some tension there. And eventually, I think Sammy's going to break away from them. And is that going to end the group, possibly? Like, I don't know if they know yet how that's going to work out.
Jericho did another promo afterwards with Sammy and Garcia, right? And he told them, they seemed upset. Like, what are you doing? Like, I thought you were a Jericho Society. I thought we were a group. What are you doing joining Don Callis? And he's like, I said maybe, but, you know, I can't be with you guys forever. And maybe you should branch out on your own. And so there's that.
Yeah, I think that could easily happen. I think Sammy's more likely going to take that to heart and be like, yeah, I'm going to do my own thing now.
Mm-hmm.
And that will cause friction with, like, Garcia, maybe other members, and that gives Jericho the opening to do something else. Maybe.
Maybe. Kenny's exact quote to the crowd after the Rampage taping, he says, there was a week where my whereabouts were unknown. I didn't stay home. I didn't go to Canada. I went to recruit an old friend, somebody who's very near and dear to my heart. I've got no doubt in my mind that as much as he cares about me, he cares about the men in this ring. He cares about this promotion. He cares about changing the face of professional wrestling. At Blood and Guts in 2 weeks, there is no way we lose. Could that be Ibushi? Doesn't sound like Jericho. Doesn't sound like Jericho.
No. I mean, who else could it? The way he describes it like that, who else could it be?
The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Well, I don't think that's going to work out too well. It'd be nice, but it won't happen.
It'd be cool.
He's a little bit busy doing something else right now.
What's he up to these days? I haven't seen him in AEW in so long. I don't know. Was he have a match with Brock Lesnar or something?
It is our main story. It's our main cover story, right? Like
he's gonna work Brock at SummerSlam, brother. I've got a whole SummerSlam card. Like, I'm ready for some WWE talk here because I've got a whole SummerSlam card built. I want to know who Edge is gonna wrestle. I've got a lot of SummerSlam questions for you, John. I want to stick with AEW Dynamite here for a couple more minutes. MJF and Adam Cole had a match against Butcher and Daddy Magic that, of course, they won to advance to the semifinals of this blind tag tournament. And then they did another promo where MJF wants to hang out with Adam Cole again this weekend, and Cole's not so into it, and he asked the fans, and the fans want them to hang out. This promo I liked better than the gym rehearsed thing. I thought the post-match promo was kind of fun, and MJF wishes Cole a happy birthday. It was his birthday, and there was all these streamers and a cake, and MJF sings happy birthday to him and then tries to dunk Cole's head in the cake, but Cole reversed it and puts MJF's head in the cake, but MJF was fine with it, and Cole thanks MJF for all he did and says, "Thank you, my friend." So Cole's starting to, I mean, it's just it's a little too predictable. I thought this was a little more entertaining than the other thing they did, but it's just like, okay, Cole is buying into what MJF is selling. He's believing that MJF really wants to be his friend, but we all know that they had a match and MJF couldn't beat Cole, and he's only doing this to keep Cole away from attacking him or demanding a rematch because he's scared to wrestle Adam Cole, and he's just befriending Cole and trying to suck up to him so he doesn't have to wrestle him. But when the time is right, he'll attack Adam Cole and beat him up, and then they'll have a match at the pay-per-view or in England or whatever their next show is. And it's just like, I don't know. It seems a little too obvious. They shouldn't have started this whole thing with a match that went to a draw, because it just kind of sets you up. Like, if they just put them together randomly and started this whole thing, it'd be like, oh, maybe they'll lead to a match, or maybe they're just going to be a team. But the fact that they had the match, it's like, oh, okay, that was just the first match. It was a draw. It's unsettled business. This is just a step along the way to the rematch for the belt. It's just, it takes too long, you know? And in the meantime, we got to sit through bad comedy. I don't like that.
Yeah. I find it interesting you like this promo more. I didn't like it as much because I wasn't a fan of them using the security guards, because that kind of took me out of it. Where you had the guys come out with the cake and try to get Adam Cole all like happy birthday to him and get all happy, and then afterwards they come out as security guards being like, oh, try to be all serious. So it's like, to me, that completely threw it off, where it's like, you can't have these guys come out and do this little skit trying to be all happy, and then afterwards they're all serious, being all make sure keep the wrestlers away kind of thing. To me, it completely threw me off on this is actually something that they're doing here, like in terms of an actual skit. It just felt everything was more fake than more so, because the guys were just not credible.
They came out after the security guys?
Yeah.
For what?
They were the exact same guys. They broke up something, I forget exactly.
They were the
exact same ones.
There wasn't much after this, though.
Something happened. I forget exactly who, but someone came out and they broke them up.
I don't know. Maybe I missed something. Ruby Soho beat Britt Baker to advance in the Owen Hart tournament. She had some help from Toni Storm and Saraya, a bunch of cheating. But she did beat Britt Baker and advanced in the tournament. Now in the semifinals, she'll face Sky Blue next week.
Yep, that's gonna happen. I don't know. This wasn't great. Like, I felt like they had a better match last year, even though obviously that was on pay-per-view. So I think you're more incentive to have a better match on pay-per-view. But
yeah,
this just felt like a usual match. Like, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. And if anything, I felt there were some things that were kind of sloppy. Like, I don't know, does Britt wrestle much? Because it feels like she's rusty sometimes.
She doesn't really.
Well, when they had house shows, I think it would have helped they kept doing those house shows, I think.
Maybe. I thought the match was not terrible.
If you look at their pay-per-view match, I mean, this is like night and day, like how much worse it is.
I'm a little surprised you thought the opening tag match... Yeah, I agree with you there.
Match.
Yeah, it was the best match, because I thought Kenny and Wheeler had a hell of a match. I thought that was the best match in the main event.
I thought it was okay, but the problem was, like, there was never any doubt on who was going to win this match. Where it's like, Swerve in Our Glory, they're doing this whole thing with Cole and MJF, so maybe Swerve in Our Glory could actually get through. But this, it's like, obviously Kenny's going to win. Like, no way is Wheeler winning this one. The fact that they put Wheeler over so much, oh, I beat Kenny, he can't beat me. Like, obviously, this is just for Kenny to come back and beat you. So that took away a lot of the suspense for the match.
Yeah. It felt like Kenny getting the win back. But I didn't care, because the crowd was so hot for it, and the match was so good. Like, what they did in the ring, I thought it was fantastic. I really liked it. I thought it
Oh,
went a
the
little
reactions
long,
were
though.
there.
Like, it seemed to
It did
go
go a little
long,
long.
right? I mean, not that I didn't enjoy it and I wanted it to end, but they seemed to run out of time on their TV show because they had to
They
rush
did, yeah.
a post-match angle, right? They had
That
Claudio
didn't air
and
completely.
it didn't seem to. So the Claudio and Takeshita come out, attack Kenny after the match. Young Bucks and Hangman, they run out with chairs. They make the save, hit the BTE trigger on Claudio, and then Hangman goes to smash Claudio's face with the chair, but the Dark Order show up from out of nowhere, and Johnny Hungy like grabs the chair away from Hangman, and then they went off the air. Like, you didn't see it. It felt super rushed too. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
here come Claudio and Takeshita. They go boom, boom. And then here come the Bucks real quick. They do a couple things. And then, set up Claudio real fast. Here comes Dark Order. Let's get them in. And the show's over. Because I looked at the time, and it was like 9:59, and Kenny and Wheeler were still wrestling. I was like, well, this is, are we done here? Are we going to get this match in? This has got to end soon here, AEW.
Right.
What's happening? And then they started doing a post-match angle. I was like, how long is this going to last here? They're running out of time. And they seem to
Happened
have run
last
out of
week,
time.
too.
Did it?
It definitely went overtime with the Sting Darby Allin match.
Mm,
Went
I
way
don't
overtime,
recall.
actually.
I don't recall.
They even said it. We're overtime, but we'll stick with the action.
Oh, okay. Like the match went too long.
Yeah.
I didn't look. I guess I didn't look at the clock to see how long it went. But I guess they have some leeway, right? They can go a bit past 10 with TSN and TNT. Or TBS,
Yeah, I think so.
It's on TBS, right?
The problem. Yeah, it's on TBS, but I just felt like they cut this shorter than they should have. It felt like there was a bit more, and we didn't see all of it.
Yeah. It felt rushed,
That's
and it
too
felt
bad.
like we missed something. But live TV, pal. These things happen. Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin have advanced to the semifinals of the Blind Eliminator Tournament. They'll face Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia at some point. I'm not sure when.
I think it's Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday? Okay. Also Wednesday, you'll have Ruby Soho versus Sky Blue in the Owen Hart Tournament semifinals. Coming up tomorrow night on Collision, we'll find out who the finalists will be in the Owen Hart men's tournament, because Powerhouse Hobbs will wrestle Ricky Starks in a semifinal, and CM Punk will wrestle Samoa Joe in the other semifinal tomorrow night, live in Regina, Saskatchewan on AEW Collision.
Wish that was in Montreal.
Damn. I mean, that's fantastic. I'm there for that. I wonder if the younger wrestling fans, like if you're a wrestling fan in your 20s, I wonder if you give a shit. Because it's not nostalgic for you. It's, these guys, like, when did they wrestle in Ring of Honor?
2003, I want to say.
It's a long time ago. That's 20 years ago. If you're 25 years old, you have no recollection of that. You know?
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, if you want to watch something, you can find it now. It's not as hard as it used to be.
But it doesn't mean as much to you, as it does to guys like us who, we were like in high school when those guys were doing their thing in Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Well, it's because of them that inspired the whole ROH getting a pay-per-view that we eventually actually saw.
Yeah. I mean, CM Punk and Samoa Joe, I remember when they both left Ring of Honor. And it was like, well, there was like a bidding war over them, and Punk wound up deciding to go to WWE, and he was in developmental, and people thought that was a bad move because Samoa Joe decided to go to TNA, and they put him on TV right away and made him a big star. I remember that.
To be fair, Punk was in TNA as well, and it didn't make him into anything.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
But that was before Joe went in. That was like a...
Yeah, I know.
He wasn't as established.
Right, but I feel I understand Punk's they had their chance with them. They didn't do much. You're welcome again.
Thank you, Thomas.
So Go with the big boys. Show them what you can do. I think it worked out in the end, so I don't think it was a bad idea.
No. I don't think it was a bad idea either. But there was discussion at the time. I'm saying I remember these guys' whole careers, and that's
Right.
why I'm interested in this match. But I know that there are wrestling fans out there. I mean, I know a couple of dudes at jiu-jitsu. They talk to me about wrestling. They're in their 20s, and they have a different perspective,
I bet.
And it's interesting. And I wonder, I haven't asked them about this match, but I wonder if they care. I wonder if this is something that really gets them, because it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago that Punk and Joe did their thing. And for us, it's like, wow, they're going again. But for a lot of people, I think it's like, oh, okay. And I think a lot of people see them as old guys now, and they are kind of older wrestlers now, But my God, for us, I'm super hyped. I think it's going to be amazing. Punk and Joe once again. I did not think that this would happen again.
Well, I felt it would happen. I just felt it would be a pay-per-view kind of thing. I still think it's going to be, because the whole idea is that Punk's never beaten Joe before, and I don't think he's going to do it tomorrow either. I think they're going to keep that intact, so that way Punk is still going to be trying to beat him one day. There might be something screwy involved, obviously, Bullet Club Gold, whatever, might happen, but I don't think I don't think Punk loses or beats Joe, actually.
You don't think Punk beats Joe? Punk has never beat Joe. No. You think he loses again because of the Bullet Club Gold?
Loses again.
Wow. I think you might be right. Who is Samoa Joe's greatest rival, CM Punk or AJ Styles?
Well, because I feel TNA pumped it up more, I feel it's AJ Styles.
They did in WWE
and it carried
too.
Over. Yeah, well, that's it. Carried over a bit in WWE, so I feel like it's that. But in terms of his best matches, that might be debatable.
Yeah, those Ring of Honor matches were incredible with Samoa Joe. Tomorrow night, man. It's big. It's real big, and I am going to try to watch it. UFC 290 is on tomorrow night, too. There's a big UFC pay-per-view. Yeah, I'll probably wind up recording Collision and watching it on Sunday. That's what I've been doing, because TSN doesn't air it live all the time at 8 o'clock. They air it at midnight, so I just record it and I watch it the next day. I'm not staying up for that. Staying up till 2 a.m. to watch AEW Collision, I don't think that's going to work for me. But yeah, I'm hyped for that match. Joe Punk in an Owen Hart tournament semifinal. I hope Bullet Club Gold doesn't interfere in that, because I want to see a real match with a real finish, I don't want to get screwed out of it.
Well, it gives you a reason to have the match again, probably at All In. I think it would still work.
Yep. I mean, yeah. I think you could do as many matches as you want with these guys. At this point, you could do 3, 4, 5. You could do a bunch. They're legends. Why not? Okay, let's switch over to WWE World. I thought WWE had a pretty good week. I thought Raw was good. I thought SmackDown was all right. What, you didn't like Raw?
Oof. It's a lot of problems with Raw. We'll get to it. Again, the bad women's wrestling. The horrific women's wrestling.
What?
Really hurts Raw.
Who are we talking about? The Gauntlet. The Gauntlet. Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, you're going to go after the women's tag gauntlet match that Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville wound up winning. They beat Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae via pinfall in the opening match. And then they wrestled Nikki Cross and Emma. And Nikki Cross tagged out of the match and left the ring to check on Candice LeRae, because apparently that's still a thing. And then Nikki was just sobbing at the entranceway during the match, so Emma was left alone, and she lost to Sonya and Chelsea. And then Dana Brooke and Tegan Nox were a match during the commercial break. We didn't even see it. It happened during the break, and it ended during the break. We come back from commercial. It's like, oh, they're done. Bell rings next. At least we didn't have to watch that, John. That probably would have made it even worse. And then Katana Chance and Caden Carter, I think that's their names. They did one pretty cool move, though. Did you see that Hurricane Rana from off the shoulders on the top rope?
Was the only redeeming part of that match.
Dude.
The only redeeming part.
It was pretty cool, though.
It was good, but it didn't save the match.
Which one is she? Is she Katana Carter or Caden Chance? She's Katana Carter,
Katana.
Right? I like her.
Katana,
she used to be Ricochet's girlfriend, right?
One of Ricochet's ex, yeah.
I think Ricochet maybe sent that butt video to her. Was it her that he sent that to?
They probably kind of like this didn't happen to Seth, right? He sent it to one of his ex-girlfriends, and that's how that came out.
Seth sent a picture of his penis. Ricochet took a video of him playing with his butt, and it got on the internet. Sent it to a lady. Strange maneuver. It's just unusual. It's a different move. It's a bold.
Here's
play.
An idea.
Bold play by Ricochet.
Don't do this stuff.
Don't send videos of yourself nude, because you never know. They could fall into the wrong hands. And then everybody could see you playing with your butthole on the internet. That's not what you want, unless they're paying for it. You know what I mean? They got to pay for that. OnlyFans, Ricochet. Stop giving that shit away for free, my friend. You can make big money. Handsome guy, all jacked. People would pay for that. Johnny would pay for that. Everybody would pay for that.
I didn't even watch the actual video you're talking about. I know you saw it, but I will never see that video.
I had to. I was like, what is this? Ricochet's doing what? They're like, you won't believe what Ricochet's done. I was like, what's he done? And it's like, oh no! Why has he done this? Like, Ricochet weird video. What? Wasn't my fault. I had to see it. Had to know. What is he up to? Because I'm curious, like, what is he doing? He's doing what now? What a crazy guy. I don't judge him for it.
Well,
I'm just surprised. I was like, what? I didn't know ladies like this. Ladies like when you take pictures of your butt? It was video of his butt. Butt video. I mean, penis picture. Okay, I've heard of that. That's a thing that people have done. I've never done that, but I can imagine it's done because you hear about it. Like, dick pic is like a word. You know what I mean? Butthole video is not a common phrase.
No, but I imagine it's out there, sadly.
It is out there, John.
Well, you saw
it.
It
is clearly out there. I don't know. I hope it's not out there anymore for Richard O'Shea's sake.
Another thing about Ricochet, though.
He's adventurous. He's an adventurous man. Look at the flips he does in the air. You know, he's different than us. The guy, he lives a life. Wild man.
Well, just if you're going to do a thing where you nearly kill Logan Paul, there's no need to do a backstage brawl afterwards. Like, if you guys look potentially dead, maybe you should actually sell what happened instead of like, oh, let's just fight backstage. So then everything you just did, almost killing yourselves, doesn't seem as important because, oh, whatever. We just almost landed our heads, but I'll still fight you backstage.
Well, apparently, they did that backstage brawl because they're trying to set up a match for SummerSlam, and they were going to set up the match for SummerSlam with that Spanish Fly spot off the ropes, but it got botched so bad that they can't replay it, so they did that instead as a reason to explain the match.
Can't replay. I think I felt like we saw it like 2 or 3 times they replayed it, and they showed it in different slow-mos, and like, oh, look, they landed on their heads right here, and we'll see it again. Right there.
Like, yeah, but they can't replay it in full.
Fine, but like we got the idea of it. Like, just tell us, like, hey, this killed them. Like, but now Ricochet wants revenge, and it's gonna happen next week, face to face. You can sell it like that.
And they're gonna do a match at SummerSlam. Let me give you a SummerSlam card, okay? None of these matches are official, but I think Wrestling Observer reported that most of them are. And this is what it looks like, okay? Ricochet versus Logan Paul, which you can guess is going to happen. Right?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Ronda versus Shayna, which seems headed in that direction. probably a go away match for Ronda, where she goes and will fight Misha Tate in a trilogy match at UFC 300 for the vacant UFC Women's Bantamweight Championship of
Why
the
Misha
world.
Tate?
Because she exists.
Wouldn't it be like Penna or something like that?
No, they're gonna give her a fight and she can win, baby. What are you talking about?
Okay.
That's
not,
a
not
rumor.
actually worthy
That's a rumor.
contender.
I heard that it's gonna happen.
Okay, fine. Well, I think that's ridiculous, but I mean, Ronda come back fine, but it shouldn't be for the title.
It's a UFC.
Give
man.
her the.
It's a business.
Give her the fun fight, but it doesn't need to be for the title. Like, put the actual contenders in there.
Amanda Nunes beat up everybody so clearly that it's hard to find a real contender right now at 135. You go Juliana Pena, okay, against who? Aldana? Like,
it's hard. Yeah.
Come on. I mean, they all got beat by Amanda. Throw somebody fun in there. Do Ronda, Misha, and then whoever wins, they can fight Juliana. I think that makes sense. Because if you do Juliana Pena against Irene Aldana for a women's bantamweight championship, good luck selling a single pay-per-view on that. No one's buying that.
Right.
No one cares. These championships are supposed to headline pay-per-views. They're supposed to make money here. I mean, okay, you could put it as a co-main event with something else, right? But like they're doing tomorrow night with Brandon Moreno and what's his face, Pantoja. You know, that's a co-main event. That's a world title fight in a co-main event spot. Why? Because the men's flyweight championship does not sell pay-per-views. You can't put Moreno against Pantoja in a main event of a pay-per-view and expect to sell. So you got to double up. And what'd you double up with? Volkanovski against Yair, which, by the way, is not a big money fight. It's not a... I mean, it's a good fight if you're a hardcore MMA fan, but as good as Volkanovski is, he's not translated to big pay-per-view. He's not translated to, like, mainstream appeal, right? He's not a megastar for the UFC. So when they do Volkanovski fights... Well, they got to put another title fight on the undercard so they can really sell it and they can make it worthwhile as a once-a-month pay-per-view. And it's International Fight Week, too. This is supposed to be their biggest card of the year. And it's cool if you're really into MMA and all, but the casuals, the people that know the stars, they don't give a shit.
Right.
They don't care at all.
Right.
There's no sizzle. You know, it's a lot of good steak, but there's no sizzle on the steak, baby. There's no, like, fanciness. So Ronda Rousey... Say what you want about the legitimacy or whatever, but you're trying to sell pay-per-views. She could sell a pay-per-view on her alone. You could make a ton of money just putting her comeback fight in the main event for a world title. And you're not putting her in the main event, you know, unless she's fighting for a world title. That's another thing. Like, if you have Ronda Rousey back in the UFC, well, she's going to have to main event a pay-per-view because she's one of the biggest draws in the history of your company, right? And
that's
the
fair.
UFC doesn't main event pay-per-views with non-title fights. I mean, once in a while they might do it, but I don't think they ever. I mean, they don't do it unless they throw that BMF title on the line, right? Like they got Gaethje and Poirier main eventing UFC 291, the next one, the next UFC pay-per-view. Not tomorrow, but the next one later this month. That's non-title because none of them are champions. So they're throwing that bad motherfucker championship in there, try to make it, you know, like a title fight. But it's not. But that's what the UFC will do. They need desperately to make every pay-per-view a world title fight. So if you're going to have Ronda Rousey, you're going to have her in the main event of a pay-per-view because she's Ronda Rousey. And because she's in the main event of a pay-per-view, you give her a title fight. And because the women's bantamweight title is vacant, because Amanda just retired, it's an easy move to put Ronda in there. Yeah, McGregor Cowboy, that's a rare exception. I saw that. That's a good point, but super rare. Thank you, Lior. Shout out Lior, member of the team. But super rare, right? And that's Conor McGregor. He's a championship on his own. You know what I mean? The guy is, you beat him, it's better than winning a championship. Cashing in.
Right. But if Ronda comes back, she's got to go through USADA anyway, so it's not going to be right away.
I don't think that's a problem. She could be in USADA right now. It's not like Brock Lesnar. It'll take some time.
Right.
Or Conor McGregor.
But you have to be in for 6 months, though, first, right, before you can actually fight. So it won't be till next year.
Yeah. But UFC, I've heard rumors of UFC 300. So that's
okay.
That's next year.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. But I think Ronda's probably on her way out. She'll wrestle Shayna, and then apparently she's leaving WWE for a while, maybe forever. I don't think forever, but a while. So Ronda, Shayna, SummerSlam. Logan Paul, Ricochet at SummerSlam, which I think is going to be a Logan Paul victory. He'll finally pick up a win after a few losses. Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes, obviously happening. Drew McIntyre versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship seems likely.
Yep.
Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns for the championship, also probably going to main event SummerSlam. Jey made a challenge to Roman tonight on SmackDown. Trish Stratus, Becky Lynch. Right?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Makes sense.
And apparently it'll be Asuka, Bianca, Charlotte, triple threat, which makes sense, and Rhea Ripley against Raquel for the Raw belt.
Well, that one's kind of weird. I mean, you just made her tag champion, but whatever, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. That's apparently being thrown around right now, Rhea and Raquel. It seems premature. What about Edge? Edge was on SmackDown tonight. He did that little promo with Grayson Waller, and then beat Grayson Waller in a match, which I wasn't expecting. Didn't expect Edge to wrestle. Kind of cool to see him wrestle. And the match was good. Edge beat Grayson after a spear. Showed him respect after the match. Told him it was sink or swim before the match. And then afterwards he said, "You swam. Good job," Decent match. What does Edge do at SummerSlam?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. Not a lot of options there. Honestly, it feels like he'd face like Karrion Kross at this point.
Kross got beat quick by AJ Styles tonight. That match was nothing. It was like 2 minutes. AJ just beat him. It was weird.
Kross didn't get an entrance either, too.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying there's not a lot of people for Edge to face on SmackDown.
SmackDown felt like everything got condensed for time except for Roman stuff and Edge's match. Like Edge and Grayson had some time to breathe. It was a good match. It was match of the night on SmackDown for sure. AJ Styles and Karrion Kross got zero time. Asuka started talking in the ring, and then Bianca Belair just ran out, started attacking her, and then Charlotte Flair ran out, started attacking Bianca, and then Io Sky and Bayley ran out quick, started attacking Asuka. Io teased to cash into the Money in the Bank. Bianca pulled Bayley out of the ring. Charlotte hit a big boot on Io. No cash in. Segment over. It was so quick. It was so condensed. There was no time to breathe. Everything was rushed on SmackDown tonight. AJ Styles, Karrion Kross was very short. Austin Theory and Sheamus had a little bit of time, but not a ton. Not a ton. And Pretty Deadly came out to interfere and help Austin Theory get the win there. But really, it was the Roman Reigns show because they took up the first 36 minutes of SmackDown with a promo and a beatdown.
And ended the show, too.
And ended the show with a beatdown and a promo, right? It was promo, beatdown, and then at the end, it was beatdown, promo.
Yeah.
Yep.
But when you think about it, I mean, it's the number one thing in WWE, so just give the people what they want. It's the main attraction. Just give us all Roman. I think it's going to work in the end. Like, I think people love this. People want more of it, so just give them a lot of it. It's the best thing going in WWE. Like to me, like I thought it was the best television on wrestling this week. Was just watching that.
The promo. It was good. It was
Yeah.
good. I believed Roman, too. Usos cut a promo in the ring talking about beating Roman at Money in the Bank. Heyman, Solo show up, and Heyman says that he's the defense for the tribal chief in this tribal court that they're doing. That's what they're calling the promo segment. They're kind of evaluating Roman as the tribal chief now that he's lost to Jey Uso. And Usos tell Heyman to shut up. And Heyman says, there's only one person in WWE that can tell me to shut up. And then Solo grabs Heyman's mic and tosses it out of the ring. So a little bit of something there with Solo. Solo is teasing all sorts of things, like taking over the bloodline and all sorts of stuff. Roman shows up and says, I may have lost the match to Jey, but I'm still the tribal chief. And the fans are with him. They're chanting tribal chief. And Roman says, see, they're not talking about you. They're talking about me. Jimmy, you're not the tribal chief. And Jey, you're not the tribal chief yet. And Roman says, I want to know why I've been called to tribal court. You don't have the authority to call this tribal court. I'm the tribal chief. Who gave you the authority to do this? And there was a pause. And I was like, Madison Square Garden, big promo segment. Usos don't have the authority to call tribal court. Roman is asking who gave you the authority to do this. I mean, it's kind of a big night. Could it be? Could it be The Rock? But no, there was no Rock. But I'll tell you there was a moment when Roman said that, I thought, who gave them the authority for this tribal court? And Jey he never said, right? He just said, well, here's Exhibit A, and they ran a video package about Roman and all his misdeeds and how he treated them poorly. But there was that open-ended question where Roman's like, who gave you the authority? You don't have the authority. And Jey didn't answer, but there was a long pause, and I was hoping the crowd would start chanting Rocky or something, but they didn't really. Maybe they didn't get it, or they didn't care, or I don't know. But did you get that too? Or was that just me hopeful? Did you think, are they talking about The Rock?
We're thinking the different guys. Like, yeah, I thought someone, but I wasn't thinking The Rock. I was thinking maybe someone like Rikishi actually would show up.
Not as good.
Rock is better, but I thought something like that.
I still think, like, you keep Roman going, you could do Roman and The Rock at WrestleMania next year. Like, you could do it.
Of course.
You could always do it.
I mean, if you think about it, once he beats Jey at SummerSlam, end it with The Rock and Roman stare down, and then build that all the way to WrestleMania, you could definitely do that.
Yep. Would love to see it. There are rumors that Cody's going to get a rematch with Roman at WrestleMania next year. I don't need that.
So Cody's going to win 2 Rumbles? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. So they show the video package to Roman Reigns where he's done all this mean stuff to the Usos, and then the crowd starts chanting, "You fucked up," and the audio goes silent. You hear them chant it for a bit, and then the audio goes silent, and you know exactly why, right? And then the audio comes back, and Roman goes, "No, I didn't," which I thought was fantastic. Crowd's chanting, "You fucked up."
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah.
He really reacts to the crowd and integrates them into his promos better than anybody in WWE. No one is doing that as well as he is.
Right now. I mean, The Rock was very good at it, too.
Yeah. But I'm saying currently.
Yeah.
The Rock was very good. I mean, so was Stone Cold. A lot of guys have been good at integrating the crowd into their promos, but Roman currently is the best at it. He responds to them. He responds to them in character. He never breaks. It adds a layer every time. Like, it never detracts. A lot of people, when they react to the crowd, they take a side road in their promo, and then they come back. But Roman, like, it's just an additional, like, it adds speed to the promo down the road. Like, he just keeps. There's no side road. It's just another layer. It just adds to it. Every little line that the crowd will say something, and he doesn't know what they're going to say. They say something, he reacts to it, and it adds to the promo. It doesn't kind of bring you in another direction, and then he has to swerve us back. A lot of people in the WWE, they'll be like, okay, address the crowd, and then back to my scripted lines. But with Roman, it feels so natural where it's just like he's talking and the crowd says something and he'll say something and then he'll keep talking because he's, it's all part of it. It's very good. And it's not easy to do. He's perfected that part of it.
No, Roman's definitely one of the best guys going talking. And to me, it's a lot of his facials too. Like when he went down on his knees there and like was saying that he didn't want the necklace anymore, and he was like hiding back tears. Like you kind of felt that emotion right there that he was bringing, even though he's not like really that sad, but like you felt it in the emotion that he's bringing with his body language.
I mean, he had tears. There were tears.
Crocodile, but still, yeah.
Still, I mean, when he got mad at the Usos, like showing that video, my daughter's in the back, my family's going to see this. Like, how could you do this to me? And you'd show all the worst moments. I never wanted to do this. I did this because I'm trying to uplift the family. Like, you believe that Roman thinks he's right.
Oh, yeah.
The motivation is clear and understandable and relatable. And you get it. You get it. He wants the greater good for the family. They just all need to fall in line. Like he said, I was in the main event of WrestleMania before the Bloodline. I didn't need the Bloodline. The Bloodline needed me. And he's not wrong. There's a lot of truth to what he's saying. But he was kind of being mean to his friends and his family. So, he's he gets what's coming to him. But you could see where Roman feels he's right and the passion. And I believe that Joe Anoa'i believes that the Roman Reigns character is right. Because I think to really be that character, you have to relate to that character and you have to fight for that character. And I think he is that guy. It's really good. It's really good. When he was crying, he's like, fine, if you want to do this, you don't like the way I'm doing it, then you can have it. You can have all of it. I don't need this. I could be on a beach somewhere. I don't need any of this. Takes the layoff, puts it around Jay, crying, takes the title belt off, throws it down, gets on his knees. And you're like, what the hell is going on? Heyman's crying. It was crazy.
Yep. These were the days of our bloodline.
I mean, it was very good, man. It was very well done. Very well done. And, of course, Roman then punches Jey Uso right in his penis because he's a mean guy. Ric Flair style. Wa-boom! Right in front of him. Jimmy is in shock for a few seconds, but then attacks Roman. Solo stops him. Solo gets between everybody at this point. Everybody's down, and Solo kind of stares at the lay in the middle of the ring, and he's thinking, I'm going to be the next tribal chief. And everybody can kind of see it like, oh, it's actually Solo. Like Roman saying he's next, whatever, but Solo is clearly the guy up next. Jimmy rushes Roman, takes a Samoan spike, though, from Solo, and then Solo picks up the lay. Roman wants it, but Jay jumps both of them. Like, Solo's kind of holding the lay, and Roman's like, give it to me, and Solo doesn't quite give it to him right away. He's like, and then he never gives it to him because Jay attacks both of them. But Solo fights out of it, hits him with a rock bottom, and eventually they tie Jay into the ropes outside the ring, and Roman smashes Jimmy in the face with the title belt a bunch of times and hits him with the steel steps. Jay manages to free himself and attack Roman, but Solo stops him, hits him with another Samoan spike before tossing him over the announce desk. And then they buried Jay under the announcer chairs, and Solo did a splash off the barricade through the announce table on Jimmy Uso, and then Jimmy Uso got carted away in an ambulance. So that was the opening couple segments. It was over a quarter of the show was all that stuff.
So 35 minutes or so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a 2-hour show, so you do the math. So it was good, though. It was really good. And then at the end, they're told, well, Jey Uso is coming back to the arena, and Roman says, okay, well, he can find me in the ring. So Roman, Solo, and Paul Heyman are in the ring, and Roman says, they acknowledge me, crowd, and they do. And then Jey Uso comes through the crowd, takes out Solo, hits Roman with a chair, but then Solo comes back in the ring, and Jay hits him with the chair a few times, which allows Roman and Heyman to escape. They go to the stage. Jey Uso takes a mic and says, I want a match with you, Roman Reigns. So probably SummerSlam for the belt. I mean, they've got this feud going. Roman's the champion. Jay pinned him at the pay-per-view. You'd think he'd earn himself a title shot.
I would think. I mean, who else is there? Again, lack of options here. It has to be Jay at this point.
Yeah.
But it's good, too. And they've sold a match that people want to see. It's hard to sell a Roman match now because he's beaten so many people now. But they did it.
Yeah. But I don't buy it. Like, Jey Uso's not winning.
Of course he's not winning. But you want to see him wrestle him at least.
Not so much.
I remember you got mad at the last time they wrestled each other.
Yeah, it was not so good. I didn't love it. I don't need to see them wrestle. I know what's going to happen in the end. Jay has no chance. For a title match, probably main event of SummerSlam, I'd like to be in a little bit more suspense as to the outcome of the match, I want to be wondering. But now the match is booked, and it's like, well, come on, Jay. You're not beating Roman for the belt. It's not going to be him. No. And the match itself, I don't think is going to be amazing. Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. Like, the promos are great, and the story's great, and they're all doing a great job. But as far as the world title match, I don't believe Jay's going to win. I don't think anybody believes Jay's going to win. I think it would honestly be weird if he did, and probably the wrong move. And, I don't expect the match to be some 5-star classic. So, it doesn't really appeal to me that much. Like, the TV leading up to it is good, but as far as what we're going to see at SummerSlam, like, I'm not hyped for the match. And quite frankly, of all the matches that I told you about, I'm not hyped for much at SummerSlam. Like, Brock Cody, seen it. I'm probably more excited about that than anything else just because Brock is fun. But Drew and Gunther, it'll probably be good. Ronda, Shayna, I don't really care about. Seth and Finn, again, I really hope doesn't happen. I don't want to see that.
Whoa. When did that get announced?
It didn't get announced, but it seems like a possibility. Maybe Seth, Finn, Priest. I don't know. Something with Seth and Finn.
I hope something different, like 3-way or 4-way something. Like not another Seth Finn again. That's overkill.
Demon Finn, maybe?
Please, something. It's way too much.
Yeah, but Logan Paul, Ricochet does nothing for me. Trish and Becky could be all right. Asuka, Bianca, Charlotte, I'm interested in. Rhea, Raquel, if that's actually happening, I think could be fun. The women's matches I'm into. The men's matches I don't really care about. But Roman and Jay doesn't do much for me. I'm not super hyped for the SummerSlam card. I was thinking about going to SummerSlam, but I'm glad I'm not going because I don't want to travel for this. I'm not going to Detroit for this. Not worth it.
You don't want to see Ronda's retirement match? Come on.
No, I'm good. I'd rather watch her fight in the UFC, I'd I'd rather go to a fight than go to this.
Well, I just remember last year's SummerSlam, the atmosphere just looked incredible. The whole setup, it just looked amazing. So they can anyhow recapture that magic that they had, because I thought SummerSlam was one of the best shows they had last year. So if they could at least have halfway decent show that they had last year, then I think this will be a great show.
Is it still the second biggest show of the year for WWE? With all these Saudi Arabia shows that they do, and they do big stadium shows, and they had the big Money in the Bank, and like, it is SummerSlam still the second biggest show of the year? It is in a stadium, at Ford Field in Detroit, big football stadium. Like, it's a big deal, but there was a time when it was like WrestleMania, and then SummerSlam was like clearly the number 2. But with all these big Saudi Arabia shows that they do, SummerSlam doesn't feel as important. WrestleMania still does, but SummerSlam, I think, has lost a little bit.
I thought last year worked, because I was a huge fan of Roman versus Brock last year. I thought that was the best Roman versus Brock match they ever did.
The forklift.
And I thought the forklift, the whole lifting the ring.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
And also Brock being careless, super careless with Roman, throwing him around everywhere.
Yeah.
Love that stuff. That was great stuff. And the undercard was good too. If I'm mistaken, I think it was Becky, Bianca. That was probably their best match ever, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the women will have some good matches, and I think Brock will be fun. So maybe SummerSlam will live off the strength of that. We'll see. Still no idea what Edge is going to do. Like, I have no idea. I figure Edge is going to have a match at SummerSlam. He just came back tonight on SmackDown. Like, he's gearing up for something, right? But what? The Karrion Kross doesn't seem to make sense, because he just got squashed by AJ Styles pretty much tonight. Like, he's not a threat. I thought they would set up Grayson Waller for Edge, like, at SummerSlam, to do the one-on-one at SummerSlam, but they did it tonight. I thought that's why Edge was coming on the Grayson Waller experience, to have a match with him at SummerSlam. He's like, I don't like what you said to my friend John Cena, or, I want to get you.
Wow. They're not really friends. They're more
whatever.
Friendly rivals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after the match tonight, where Edge seemed to show Waller some respect, do you think it's a possibility that we get Edge and Grayson Waller as a team against Sami and Kevin for the belts?
No, because Waller, way too much of a jerk to put him with Edge, I think, who's more beloved at this point. So I don't think you'd want to turn Edge heel. I think and they're going to be in Toronto pretty soon too. So don't do that. That's kind of ridiculous. If anything, like, if Randy Orton come back, that'd be fantastic. Do Edge and Randy. I always love seeing those two wrestle.
Oh my God!
I know
not
you
again.
hate that.
No.
I'm just trying to come up with ideas for.
I thought
Edge
have
here.
them team against Sami and Kevin would be pretty damn cool. Rated RKO against Sami and Kevin for the tag belts at SummerSlam. Damn. Be sick.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, even do Edge and AJ again too. I mean, that's just gonna be a good match.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense now with the AJ character.
I'm reaching here. Like, we don't have a lot to work with here.
No. All right. Well, we'll see what they do. I thought the opening promo for Raw was good this week. Like the Seth Rollins promo, he comes out. I mean, obviously, it doesn't. He wasn't great. Talked about.
We can rip on this.
I mean, it wasn't great. He called Damian Priest Senor Money in the Bank, and talked about beating Finn, but then Cody Rhodes' music cuts him off, which was nice. And then Cody's about to talk, and it seems like, Cody's going to challenge Seth. Cody's going to be next for Seth. Seth for the belt. Cody's finally going to get a belt, right? But no, Brock Lesnar shows up, which, you should have known. Here comes the Beast, and Cody goes after him, and they brawl on the ramp. And Brock kind of tosses Cody around, picks him up, tosses him into the barricade, pretty rough, drops some knees on him. Brock went for the F5, but Cody jumped off the shoulders, hits the Cody cutter, and Brock bailed out of the ring, and then kind of huffed and puffed, and that was the end of that. But that was pretty good. You know, Seth was talking for a bit, but then we saw action. It was like Cody and Brock, and I was like, cool. And then we go to commercial, and Cody and Brock are gone, and Seth is still in the ring with a microphone. I was like, no, why? Why is this happening? Still talking? Ugh.
So wait a second. Explain to me this. Seth's in the ring with Cody. Brock comes out, and then Seth runs away or just walks away, and then just comes back again?
Yeah.
That's your world heavyweight champion right there.
Yeah, why didn't he help Cody? Isn't he a babyface? But I guess he doesn't like Cody, so he's just going to stay out of it?
Still, that's your champion. Or just, there's something going on, I'll just walk away, whatever.
Yeah. He's irrelevant.
He's not a really good champion. Strong doing that.
He's not a good champion. He's feuding with Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley simultaneously.
Oh, and another thing, too.
What?
A lot to rip on Raw here, by the way. So Dom, they're going with the whole, he's Dirty Dom now, right? And he's embracing the name.
Yeah.
A name that Cody gave him. So your rival.
I didn't know that's where it came from.
Yeah, it came from Cody. So if your rival gives you a name, you just accept that. It's your thing. And they were kind of it was like a mocking kind of thing for him. And now we like it. We're going to stick with it.
I mean, it sounds
and now
good.
He took fine, but usually with that you get mad or something, if you get labeled with that.
No.
If your rival does that.
Let me give you a great example, John. A man by the name, I think you're going to know where I'm going. Bret the Hitman Hart called a few gentlemen, "You guys, you're just a bunch of degenerates." And they took that and they said, "We are a bunch of degenerates. We're Degeneration X." And DX was born, and it was the greatest faction in the history of WWF wrestling. So sometimes you take what your opponent gives you and you make solid gold out of it, Johnny. They called them degenerates. Right. They said Degeneration X, and it was money, money, money. So why not Dirty Dom? Dirty Dom Dom. Triple D.
But they took something that Bret gave, and they twisted the idea into their own idea.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. They took it. He's like, "You want to call us degenerates? We are degenerates. You want to call me dirty? I am dirty. I'm filthy. Yeah, I lie, I cheat, I steal."
He called him Dirty Dom. Oh yeah, I'm Dirty Dom. That's it. We're degenerates, degeneration. They made something out of that, and that worked. Sadly, but that worked.
But you see, here's the thing. I don't recall Cody saying Dirty Dom. He said it once?
The week prior to Money in the Bank.
Okay. One time in a promo. Right?
Maybe twice.
Okay. But if you, as Dominic Mysterio in WWE, repeat it time and time again, and you call yourself Dirty Dom, pretty soon people forget where it came from, and it's just like, oh yeah, he's Dirty Dom. Look at him. Filthy. It happens. It's not a big deal.
People obviously forget everything, but still.
Ass boys.
Yeah, they don't embrace it. That's the thing. That's why it works, because they don't embrace it.
Yeah.
That's the idea of it. You don't embrace the name, so then people keep calling you that. Now, with this, he embraces it. It doesn't have the same effect when you do that.
Anyways, Dirty Dom wanted a match with Seth on Raw. And he got it, baby.
And what a terrible main event.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Just Seth wrestling a ragdoll. That's all it was.
It was not good.
The lack of Kevin and Sammy, the whole week in WWE, really hurt.
Kevin was
they're the
hurt,
best part
right?
of Raw.
Is he hurt?
I'm guessing the ankle. Well, apparently they did the dark match on SmackDown.
Oh.
They wrestled pretty deadly right after SmackDown went off the air.
Oh, good.
So, I mean, he's working, but they didn't have them on television for whatever reason this week.
That is weird.
Well,
Maybe
it's a
because they
huge
don't have
miss.
anything for them to do.
Wrestling pretty deadly again. Yeah, it doesn't help.
Doesn't seem like they have much for them. Man, you
Probably
really
a four-way
hope Randy
tag.
comes back. You get that Edge and Randy match at SummerSlam. That'd be great. That'd be really good for them. Otherwise, they're going to wrestle pretty deadly again.
It'll be a four-way
Yikes.
tag, probably, something like that.
Yikes.
Yeah. Street Profits. Maybe
Imperiums.
Alpha Academy. Oh, Imperium, yeah. Something like that.
We had Damian Priest over Shinsuke Nakamura. I thought that was a good match. And Shinsuke,
right.
Shinsuke doing the sexy dance for Rhea Ripley outside the ring trying to seduce her. Fantastic. That was a highlight of Raw. Amazing. So sexy.
I don't know if it was a highlight, but it happened.
What? Yeah. I thought the Ronda Shayna promo was really good. I thought Shayna's promo was fantastic.
No.
What?
Sorry. Okay, here's the thing. Like, this whole, like, why did you do this? And just because, like, you got fed up with her? That's the lamest. Like, again, like, you're in a tag team match. Like, in the middle of a tag team match, you just said, oh, I'm fed up with you?
Yeah. No, it didn't
Terrible.
explain why she did what she did when she did it, but it did explain why she's mad at Ronda right now, right? Like, there's obviously some pent-up resentment, and yeah. No, I know what you mean, but just as a standalone promo, it was good, because she delivered a promo. It made sense. There was some real, facts behind it, and she delivered it with fire and passion. That's all. I thought it was just well done for a wrestling segment. But yes, overall, in the whole story of it, it's like, well, but why'd you attack her during the match? Why then? The timing of it is strange, and it wasn't really explained. But Shayna's saying, Ronda, you're acting like a big star, but I'm the reason you're here in wrestling, and I liked wrestling first, and I was performing on the indies, and I had to have a tryout, and you just came in through the back door because you're famous, and I'm not as famous, and I'm going to shut you up. And then Ronda kicked Shayna off the apron, dropped her with a clothesline. Ronda tossed Shayna back in the ring, put her in a chokehold. And then Ronda clearly tells Shayna to flip her over, which she does, puts her in an ankle lock. Ronda fights out of it, but does eat a pretty hard running knee to the face. And Shayna leaves, and Ronda says, get back here, we're not finished. I think the match could be quite good because they're friends, and they know what each other can take. They're very tough. They're former UFC fighters, both of them. So, yeah. I think the match could be pretty good. And I liked the promo. I thought it was good. Like, okay, everything that kind of led to this, just the Money in the Bank situation aside.
Yeah.
Starting now, it's good,
All right. I get you on that one. I just feel like this is just a huge waste of what Ronda could have been. I feel like she could have been one of the top stars in WWE, and we lost out on major feuds. The fact that her and Becky never had a one-on-one is ridiculous. The fact that that match never happened at WrestleMania when it should have is a huge miss. And there were moments. Remember last year in Montreal, like the reactions Ronda was getting. Ronda was getting that CM Punk kind of vibe where some people were cheering for her, some people were booing her, but she was getting reactions, like loud reactions. And it just feels like she's just another person there now at this point, and we're just winding her down. It just feels like a major miss from one of the top stars ever in WWE women's wrestling history.
Yeah, they don't treat her like the star that she is. They don't book her like the star that she is. I don't know why. I think she's incredible. But I know what you mean about that. So one of the problems with breaking Ronda and Shayna up. so prematurely in their run. I mean, obviously Ronda's running out of time in WWE, so they had to do it. I get that. But the problem is there is no women's tag team division. So they became the undisputed women's tag team champions just a couple weeks ago, taking the NXT belts. Then they lose to Raquel and Liv Morgan out of nowhere at Money in the Bank. And now Raquel and Liv Morgan don't have Ronda and Shayna as opponents, so they have to find new opponents in the women's tag team division. And it is very slim pickings. We had this gauntlet match that was not good. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville wound up winning, so they're going to get tag team title shots, which won't be good. Sonya and Chelsea against Raquel and Liv will be a bad match. It just depends on how bad. It will be bad. It will not be good. It cannot be.
I think we've seen it before, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and it sucked. This will also suck. But then you look at the rest of the division, and it's the best you got, which is so damn pathetic. You have Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Who even knew they were a tag team? Who even knew they existed? Nikki Cross and Emma. They're not even a tag team, but they were there. Dana Brooke and Tegan Knox. When is the last time you saw these people on TV? They're not a tag team. Katana Chance and Caden Carter are the only team that I've seen recently team on Raw. I've seen them on Raw. I've seen them as a team. They're a team, but they're new as hell, and, you know, they're not legit, and they're tiny. So the division is awful.
A shot of the size.
Well, they are. They're super small.
They are, but, I mean, they're very fast, though. And very agile. So
you better be. You're like 3 feet tall. I mean, come on. Better be fast. Looks like Dink and Stink in there. Anyways, Becky Lynch cut a promo. Becky says she didn't win Money in the Bank, but she's ready to move on from Trish Stratus, but she just can't because Trish won't leave her alone. And then, of course, here comes Trish and Zoe Stark on the stage. And Trish has a big face mask, plastic mask thing. Cody Rhodes used to wear that.
Before.
Remember when Cody had that as dashing? Yeah, Trish has had that before too, right? With Vince?
Yeah. Well, with Vince, like she had like a broken nose in the past or something, and she'd wrestle with that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say when she was a heel even too.
Is her nose broken though? Like for real? I don't think so.
I don't know if it is. I think it's just playing it up, but whatever. Doesn't matter.
And Trish, of course, cuts a great promo. She says she's mad and she's prettier than everybody, even in her mask, which I thought was a funny line. And then Becky wonders what's going to happen to Zoe when Trish leaves. And she wonders, you know, why you're still here, Trish, if you don't want to fight me. Like, what are you still doing here? And Trish says, I'm here because I'm the face of the women's division. And next week, you're going to face Zoe. So Zoe Stark and Becky Lynch will wrestle on Raw Monday night. Yeah, but I think Trish and Becky probably SummerSlam. And I guess Trish won the last one, so this will be Becky's revenge, finally. And we can move on.
Well, does not make them 1-1, so we have to have another one?
Yeah. Interesting point, though, from Becky. What will Zoe Stark do when Trish leaves? Because right now she's just Trish's lackey. But, you know, Trish is going to leave at some point, so what happens then?
Well, they're hoping, I'm sure, that off of being around Trish, it'll at least get her over enough that when she's on her own, people will still care about her.
Oh, good luck. Maybe she could be Emma's next tag team partner.
Or Tiga.
Or Tiga. You don't even know her name.
Yeah.
Who's Tiga? Tegan.
Tegan.
T-E-G-A-N.
Yeah, I don't really know her name.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what her name is. Some smart guy said that one time. Okay, I really liked Alpha Academy and Maxine Dupree over the Viking Raiders and Valhalla. Maxine got the win. Great match. Crowd was really into Gable. Oh, thank you. Like, they're getting hotter and hotter every week. This is a good act. This is going somewhere.
It is, and again, it was good until the women got involved.
I disagree. I think Maxine is really good as this, like, green wrestler who's just learning to wrestle and is amazed when she pulls off a move. Like, I think she's playing the role really well. Her facial expressions are good. She's clearly not a good wrestler, but that's part of her gimmick, which I think is smart.
Right, and it works and then doesn't work. Like, it's okay about the whole like learning to wrestle kind of thing, and like she's unsure about moves, so that she pulls off a move. That's fine, but the whole like doing the worm thing and then taking a knee that didn't really hit whatsoever, and all you see is a little slap, and that was it. That looked bad. That looked really, really bad, and kind of took you out of it for a bit. Because, like, regardless if things don't look great, when the strikes just look completely off, then you're just destroying the magic then.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a mark for this team, but I think they're fantastic. I mean, yeah, okay, Maxine isn't perfect.
Good.
Yeah, the story's good. The promos are good. The chemistry is there. Otis is great. Gable is amazing. And he is fire in the ring. What an athlete this guy is. Incredible.
A bit was on Sarah Logan, too. Sarah Logan, like, I don't think her time was a bit off on that. Yeah. And she's got to be more the veteran in this one, and maybe that's the bad part about that.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, do you remember the Riot Squad? She was never
I do remember the Riot Squad.
You know?
She was definitely the third member of that group.
Yep. Yes, she was. Okay. Did you like Rhea Ripley and Natalya? Because I thought that match was match of the night on Raw.
See, here was the problem with this one. Like, it was hyped up like, oh, this was an incredible match. What a great match. So I had high expectations going into this.
Oh, so you saw it after it happened.
Right.
So you heard about it and then saw it. That's not fair. I saw it as it happened, and I was like, holy shit, this is such a good match.
Right. And I can get why people liked it because of that, because what have we gotten in the past? Like, absolutely nothing. So this is definitely an improvement. But when you're looking into this like, oh, this is going to be a great match, and then you're like, well, the start was kind of awkward a bit. The face beats up the heel to jumpstart the match.
Well, revenge.
Fine. That's all right. Natty's clubs, like, they were not very good. I don't know if she, like, got tired or something or what, but they got to be better than that, though. And that was kind of sad. And there were just some points where she felt like she got lost. And I don't know if she's hurt or something, but it feels like when she walks, like, it's tough for her. It's like she's grimacing almost. I don't know if you caught that or not, or
no. Well, I mean, she's been wrestling for a really long time. It's possible. I didn't notice.
It just seemed like, I don't know if she was slow or whatever, but it seemed like it was tough for her just to move around.
I thought the story they told was fantastic. Like Natty fighting from underneath and everything. I thought it was great.
The fighting from underneath is fine, but the whole, like, beat a dead fish kind of took me out of it a bit. It's like, it was great Natty got the jump start, had some offense, but the second she gets one shot, she's dead. So it's like, it's hard to fight from behind when one shot kills you.
Rhea's so powerful. Just, the power.
Yeah, that's fine, but, like, don't be a dead fish, Don't be like, you could be like, oh, that shocked you kind of thing, but show some life. She's absolutely dead at almost every shot. That big headbutt she gives looks good, but it looks like she's pretty much done. Big kick to the side of the head, she's done again. Like, it's the whole thing. And, like, Cena did it way too much, where it's just like, I'm just gonna lay in the ring, just beat the crap out of me until I make the comeback. That's what this kind of felt like. It's just, Natty gets her offense in a bit, and then Rhea will just smash her for a bit, and eventually we'll win.
Well, I love the match, John. I don't know. I guess you were overhyped for it going in, and it didn't hit the same. Rhea attacked Natty after the match. Raquel and Liv chased her off. So Rhea didn't like that. Io Sky showed up backstage after the match when Rhea Ripley was walking around. Showed her the Money in the Bank briefcase and kind of threatened her, said, see you around. And then Rhea says, yeah, you try it. It'll be the biggest mistake of your life. I like the attitude from Rhea Ripley. She's becoming a massive star, more and more comfortable talking. I think her promos are getting way better. Her attitude, her charisma, like this title run is the Rhea Ripley era. Like it's beginning, This is all leading to this, and she's going to be a massive star in WWE. She can pull out great matches. She's got the attitude. Her promos are getting way better. Yeah, there's a lot there with Rhea Ripley. I'm very excited to see where this goes. She's still in her 20s. I mean, the next 10 years of Rhea Ripley are going to be incredible.
Well, it's all leading to her and Bianca, right?
Yep. You would
think.
That's
where it started?
One
That's
day.
where it should end?
Mm-hmm. WrestleMania?
Or whatever. It can also happen before then, right?
Different brands, though. It'll be tough.
Yeah, they make trades or whatever. I mean, Io was on Raw, right? Like, what's she doing on Raw?
She got the Money in the Bank briefcase. I think that means you can go wherever because you could cash in on whoever.
No. Well, I'm sure they can make a bunch of different rules for everybody. Like, look, Damian Priest, can't cash in on Roman Reigns when he finally gets pinned, but he'll always be around Seth Rollins.
He can't?
Well, did he?
Well, he didn't, but I think he's afraid of Roman Reigns. Also, he's always got Solo Sikoa lurking somewhere. Like, he's dangerous. You attack Roman, it's like, it's a more difficult proposition. Like, if you're looking at this from a shoot perspective, like, if this is real and you have a briefcase, if you cash in on Roman, there's always a chance that Solo Sikoa sticks his thumb in your neck and you fall down. But if you cash in on Seth, when he's in a vulnerable state, he's got no backup. He has no friends. He's the easiest guy to cash in on because no one's going to save him. Gunther, Intercontinental Champion, he's got goons, not a safe proposition. Austin Theory, U.S. Champion. I guess you could cash in on him, but really, who cares? Roman Reigns, too dangerous to cash in. Seth is the guy you cash in on. Also, Priest is on Raw, and he sees Seth all the time, and there's a story there. So there's that, too. But
Money in the Bank, he had the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Solo was taken out. Roman was beaten.
Yeah, but Solo can always come back. Solo's a dangerous, resilient man. I wouldn't mess with Solo. Nobody beats Solo. And all it takes is one thumb to the neck and you're done, man. Solo's booked strong. Stronger than Seth. Solo is Roman's backup, and he's booked stronger than Seth is. If we're being real. Like, the way WWE presents these guys, who's, more intimidating?
Yeah, but who's pushed more, though?
Solo.
I'll agree with the intimidation.
Solo gets more TV time.
Yeah, well, Seth's the star of Raw.
Solo's one of the stars of SmackDown. Seth is not the star of Raw. Seth,
he started Raw.
Becky, Cody, Brock.
I mean,
he's part of a cast. It's an ensemble cast on Raw. On SmackDown, there's one star, but Solo happens to be part of the act. I think Seth is not as big a star as Solo. I think Solo is more important to SmackDown than Seth is to Raw. SmackDown without Solo right now would be lost. Raw without Seth would be fine.
Well, again, longevity plays a huge part in this. So,
yeah, we've seen everything he does, and it's like, all right, what can Solo do? He's newer. He's more fun.
I'm not going to say Solo is more intriguing. There's no doubt about that. Yeah,
so
he's
much
more fun, but
yeah,
Seth's been around a long time, and as much as I hate it, he's the Raw champion. He's the main guy on the show. He started the show. He tells you everything that happened at Money in the Bank. He was the narrator for Raw pretty much to start the show.
Yeah, but Cody.
Well, Cody's there, but he's not the champ, though.
Yeah, but Seth talks, Cody comes out. Cody's not the champ, but he's kind of like the people's champ in waiting, main star on Raw, biggest star on Raw. He beat Seth 3 times last year.
Right. There'll be a match one day again, I'm sure.
Cody's
Seth
the bigger star. Back. Cody's the real star of Raw. Who's the top babyface on Raw? You're going to tell me Seth? Who's Seth working SummerSlam? Nobody. Who's Cody working? Brock Lesnar.
Right. Like I agree. I think Cody is a bigger babyface, but I feel like they push Seth as the top star.
Disagree. I think Cody's the top star, but we can agree to disagree on that. I wonder what the chat thinks. Who's the biggest star? Who's the top star on Raw? Cody or Seth? Let me know in the comments. Drop a comment under the video on Rumble, on Kick, on YouTube. Drop a comment. Seth wrestled Dominic Mysterio in the main event, won by disqualification when Damian Priest attacked Seth. Priest beat up on Seth after the match. Looked like he was going to cash in Money in the Bank. Went to Razor's Edge. Seth through the announce table, but Seth escaped. Super kicked Damian Priest. Dominic then hit Seth with the briefcase and says, "Hey, Priest, go cash in. It's your time." Priest gets on the apron, but Finn Balor gets in the ring, and he pushes Seth, who then hits Damian Priest. Priest falls off the apron. Finn goes for his double stomp off the top. Finn and Priest then argue with each other, and Seth manages to escape. Dominic tries to stop Seth from escaping, but eats a pedigree, and that's how Raw ended. Yeah. It wasn't
great.
It was not great. And the Dominic, or the Finn and Damian stuff, like, I don't care.
Thank God we have SmackDown. SmackDown's good.
Yeah, like they're trying to do a blow up of the Judgment Day, like the blow up of the Bloodline, and like it doesn't hit the same.
No, well, the characters aren't as good. That's one.
No, you don't care about it as much, and it's just not.
Yeah.
It's like, well, so Finn lost to Seth, but he's mad that Damian Priest has Money in the Bank. Is that it?
I'm headline now.
Huh? Oh, that's weird. And something weird happened.
That's all right. As long as you can see me. It's worse when you can't see me. So
I see you.
That's not the end of the world.
Yep. That's weird.
Yeah. It's all right. Late night, things happen.
Botches.
Yeah.
All right.
But still, in the end, Raw, not great. Hopefully it'll be better next week. We got, 4 more weeks till SummerSlam?
I thought Raw was good. I thought we had good matches. Like I said, I thought Riddle and Vinci was not bad. And then Drew McIntyre came out and faced off with Gunther. I think they'll do a match there. I thought that was all right. Rhea Ripley and Natty I thought was really good. Like, you didn't like that match so much, but I thought it was really good. So I think that helped my overall picture of Raw. Alpha Academy and Maxine Dupree against the Viking Raiders and Valhalla I really liked, and you didn't like it so much. So I actually thought Raw was quite good. The Ronda promo was good. Seeing Brock Lesnar is always good. Priest and Shinsuke was good. I liked Raw. So there. Which is pretty rare for me. I don't usually like Raw. I'm kind of surprised on a week where I like Raw that you didn't. Because usually you're more pro WWE shows than I am. Surprising.
Well, when it's good, WWE is some of the best wrestling you'll see on television. But when it's bad, wow, is it bad? And it's just a lot of the bad women's wrestling. It's really bad. That tag match, wow.
Well, yeah.
I don't think I've seen anything worse in WWE this year.
It didn't last that long, though.
It felt like forever. It's that bad. Because it went through a break, too. It didn't go through, like, at least a break or two? Because we lost break, the team during the break.
One break. I think it was one break. Becky and Zoe will wrestle on Raw Monday. We will also see Drew and Matt Riddle team up to take on Vinci and Kaiser. And The Miz will go one-on-one with Tommaso Ciampa in a no disqualification match. Raw Monday in Buffalo, New York. On your birthday, John.
That's true, Monday, yeah.
Happy birthday, buddy. Look at you.
Oh, I'll be at a funeral service on Monday, but yeah.
Oh, happy birthday? Sorry to hear.
Yep. Well, that's life. You know, you live and then you die.
That's usually how it goes. Although maybe there's an escape somehow. Probably not.
No, you're stuck for now. You can't get away from your kids, sorry.
No, I prefer being alive than the alternative, right?
There you go.
with the kids. They need me around. Once they don't need me, then I guess I could go. You know what I mean? If I'm
There
no
you go.
longer necessary, then we could pack it in. But they're still quite young, so they need me for at least another, I'd say, 15 to 20 years, and then by that time I'll be
That's not
so
bad.
old. Like, who knows? I think I'll probably live past that. I'd like to see what they're like as adults. Maybe see some grandchildren. That'd be a weird thing.
Wow. Yeah,
I'm far away
that's
from
far ahead
that.
thinking.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, one day, right? You have kids, and you think like, oh yeah, look at my parents. They had me at one point, and now they have grandchildren. Look at them. And they're not even that old. How do they do it?
Well,
I don't know.
they'll have interesting kids or interesting AI kids, whatever it is in the future.
Did you hear that AI voice of me? There's like an AI promo. Somehow the production team made some sort of promo video with my voice, but it's AI. It's not really me. I heard it and I was like, this doesn't sound
Okay.
like me. It sounds like me, but it sounds like an off version. It had like a bit of a
Right.
southern accent. It was weird.
Yeah, well, there's programs for that. You can do that. Like there was a way I was trying to make you like sing songs and all that. I haven't perfected it yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. That stuff is weird. I don't mess with that stuff. I don't know about AI too much. I know that it's the
Hey,
next
right now
wave, but I think
it's
like
legal right now.
this is where I get too old. Like this is where technology passes me by. Because like everybody's doing the
No
AI
way.
thing and the chat GPT, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. And I think that like, well, I'll just lose touch with technology because so much will be AI and people will be calling me with AI voices and I won't understand it because I'm too old and confused. I'm not on the
No.
AI. I don't get the AI. To me, AI is like, when a video game like is smart. You know what I mean? When like you do something then the video game kind of learns a pattern and that's AI to me. That's the extent of AI that I understand that works.
Well, it's still a new thing right now, but it's developing. And once it becomes more user friendly, I think you'll be more interested or adapt to it.
Yeah, make me an easy app where I can do AI things and then maybe, but right
There you
now it's
go.
just I don't know. I saw that chat GPT thing and everybody was talking about it and then I went on the website, but you have to like log in and create a username and a profile,
Right.
I didn't do that. I was like, I got to log in and make a profile. Fuck, I don't care about this enough. I gave up. I was like, nah. Everybody else can do this chat GPT thing. Go ahead, talk to a robot all day. I'm not interested. I don't need it in my life. Maybe one day I will, but right now it's like I'm not smart enough to figure it out. All right,
Well, one day.
maybe, maybe not, pal. Maybe not, pal. All right, when's your next match? You got anything you want to promote? When can we see you wrestling people?
Well, I think August 19th, I've been told. I think NCW comes back, so August 19th, I believe.
Nice.
Let's wait for that. And I think in Blainville. Date still not 100% and location not 100%, but August 19th, tentative right now.
All right, well that's cool. That's something to look forward to. That's the day before WWE comes here. I think they're here on the 20th.
Because they come on a Sunday. And by the way, Laval is not Montreal, regardless of what the WWE commercial says.
Yeah,
That WWE's come back to Montreal. Like they
it's
actually are
close.
not.
It's close, but it's not quite Montreal. It's a suburb outside.
Yeah,
It's not
but
on the.
well, it's a little bit
It's not on the
throws it
island.
off a little bit.
You gotta take a bridge,
It's a little bit off. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You gotta take a bridge. Do you have to take a bridge?
Well, I take a metro, but you usually have to take a bridge.
I don't even know what anything is, man. That's a quote. Put that on a T-shirt. I don't even know what anything is, man. You know it's late. I'm like, what? I don't know what anything
You've had
is
a long
anymore.
week, and you
Yeah.
have a UFC tomorrow too, so it's going to be a very long weekend for you. Thankfully, AJ's there to keep you motivated.
I'm gonna be in rare form on that UFC show tomorrow night. All right, I'm planning like high dosage, high voltage. It's gonna be wild. I'm just saying.
What was that song by Afro Man? What was the song again?
Yeah, I don't think it's. Yeah, that's the weed song. But then I got high. Da 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 da. That song. It's not really about. Yeah. I'm not even talking about weed, John. All right, I'm talking about other things. Yeah. I'm talking about other things. We're going to other dimensions, huh?
Okay. You gotta get heavier. I understand.
I'm just saying, you know. Sometimes you gotta say what's up to your friend Captain Toad. You gotta go to Toadland. You gotta go to where Princess Peach lives. You know, that kingdom.
Licking and kissing toads. Huh.
I'm talking about Toad, man. Captain Toad. You know what he is. He's a mushroom, dude. He's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm trying to spell it out without saying it particularly. Mushrooms. All right. We'll see you tomorrow night. We're going to have a good time. Party time. Tomorrow night, UFC 290 watch along. We're going to be having a good time watching the UFC pay-per-view with you. 10 p.m. Eastern time is when the show starts, when the pay-per-view starts. We'll be here on the Ringside Report Network on all the platforms, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Kick, Rumble, everywhere. Everywhere. And Johnny and I, of course, here every Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, right after SmackDown, talking all the wrestling things. And that's about it. No wrestling pay-per-views this weekend. We get a bit of a break from that. Of course, I'm on, though, tomorrow night for the UFC 290 MMA pay-per-view. So we'll be there for that tomorrow, right here on the Ringside Report Network. Ladies and gentlemen, pro wrestling and MMA fans from around the world, we have a special message just for you. Are you ready to take your love for pro wrestling and mixed martial arts to the next level? If so, then listen closely because we have an offer you won't want to miss. The Ringside Report Network brings you the best of the squared circle and the octagon. We're here today to invite you to become a member of our exclusive community. Our vibrant and passionate community of members is waiting to welcome you with open arms. Connect with like-minded fans, share your opinions, and engage in lively discussions about the latest matches, epic rivalries, and upcoming events. Together, we'll celebrate the adrenaline-fueled world of pro wrestling and MMA. There's nobody on the internet that has as much knowledge and insight on this entertaining world of combat sports as we do. Please consider supporting the Ringside Report Network right now by going to membership.ringsidereport.net. That's membership.ringsidereport.net. Or if you want to join our YouTube channel, go to join.ringsidereport.net. Only members are invited to call into our shows, and we really, really want to hear from you. Don't wait another second, my friends. This is your opportunity to become a part of something extraordinary. Join the Ringside Report Network Pro Wrestling and MMA channel today and witness the action, drama, and excitement like never before. We can't wait to welcome you to our growing family of wrestling and MMA enthusiasts. Remember, together we're going to make some noise and celebrate the incredible world of pro wrestling and mixed martial arts. Thanks for joining us today, and we can't wait to speak with you.